Okay, what is this thing? A Mercury 25 horsepower came in with shifting problems. It's a fire department boat, so we wanted to fix it and fix it right. And this is a Mercury, but it's made by Yamaha. This is a Yamaha engine. There's a lot of tattletales that this is Yamaha. For one, this Chinese-ish computer. And the biggest tattletale, of course, is this little plastic fuel filter assembly, which we see on Yamahas all the time.
Some Mercury.
Not too, some Mercuries, but but the Yamaha Mercuries. Anyway, it's got all this plastic nonsense. Everything to do with this shifting is plastic. Plastic arm that controls the throttle, plastic wheel with a plastic little hub with a slot in it, with a plastic sleeve over that, and then a metal pin for the neutral button, a metal pin with a spring, and then goes to a plastic arm that moves the shifter up and down, off to another piece of plastic that's the detent for neutral, forward, and reverse. A lot of plastic. This engine, if you shift gears on this engine with it not running or somebody turning the propeller, you will damage it. You will damage that plastic. You will cause it to be forced out of its spot. You may have to replace some pieces, or you may have to take it completely apart like we did and reset all those pieces. We didn't find any broken. We found a little worn, but it didn't warrant a replacement. So we're going to start this thing up, and we're going to show you how this shifts. Since it's a cable operated tiller handle, which I personally don't like, but what are you going to do, right? I mean, if you want a tiller handle, you're going to have some cables. So we have this, well, I call this the reverse cable, and I marked it with an R to show that it pulls to go in reverse. And this one, which I marked with an F, that shows it goes the opposite way. It pulls the opposite way. That arrow is wrong, to go into forward. So Kenneth Walker here is going to start this thing up. Should just be one pull. Okay, 2 pulls. There's 2 pulls. Now they got a high idle. That's automatic. So you want to let that engine idle down for a second, like it just did. We're pumping good water. All right, let's go up here. Neutral. Forward. Prop is turning. Okay. Gonna give it some gas. All right. Go back to neutral. There's neutral. Now, if you'll notice, the propeller is still turning. Remember, I told you it's cables. Sloppy cables all the way up to here. So when you go back to neutral, just go back a little bit more and then go back. That's neutral. Same thing when you go the opposite way. So you go in reverse. That's in reverse. Propeller's turning in reverse. All right, we're going to go back to neutral. See how I went past it just a little bit? So forward, right? Go back, pass it just a little bit. That's neutral. So you just want to pass that neutral. Today we're all spoiled with these modern vehicles that are, everything's perfect, everything's electric shift, electric this, solenoids that. And when we put it somewhere, we want this positive, perfect engagement. Well, this is a tiller handle cable operated system with a bunch of plastic. There's all kinds of slack in this thing, underneath here with the throttle. There's all kinds of just loose stuff, and it's kind of the way it's made. This stuff wiggles around, up and down. That's the way it's designed. So once again, I just moved that. You saw that? I just moved it from under there. You see that? It's not quite in gear. The propeller is not turning. But as soon as I pass that R just a hair, we're good. So if you just said, well, I want a perfect world, I'm going to go right there and stop. Well, you might get lucky and it hits neutral. You might. Forward, you want to go back, you say, oh, that should be neutral right there. Well, it's not a perfect world, so just skip past it, just a hair, ever so slightly, and you're going to be in neutral again. So that's it. The engine runs good. It's ready to go again. Go ahead and shut it off for a second. No, it's okay. Another thing is, this thing has a neutral lockout, right here. When this thing goes into gear, this little ball moves, and it lets that little tab right there go outwards like that, right? When this thing goes in, it pushes the tab out. I'm saying it backwards, I apologize. When you're in neutral, that pushes this tab out and that unlocks the flywheel. As soon as you go into gear, it moves and it locks the flywheel. So you can't pull the pull start to try to turn the engine. So it's also a cable. It seems to be working okay, you know, but if it gets stuck, you could be locked on your pull start. A simple thing of going back here and just push this a little bit, you know, and you'll be free again to start the engine. What else was I going to say? I don't recall. So that's it. Seems to be running fine. Seems to be shifting fine. And we're going to give it a thumbs up. It's good to go.